extra lit, extra lit, extra lit. Big Cali world all the time, extra lit, extra lit, extra lit. Big Cali world all the time, extra lit, extra lit, extra lit. Big Cali world all the time, extra lit, extra lit, extra lit.
Extra lit.
It's the man with the plan. I ain't Clark Kent, but some of the ladies do call me Superman. It's your boy, Big Cali. Feeling good, feeling great, as usual. Here for another episode of Big Cali World, man. We got Cast One on the ones and twos.
The future is bright, Big C.
You know what it is, and I love how you came in like that because it scared me. I really jumped because I wasn't looking at you, and I jumped when it came on. It was like, I hope the listeners jumped when they heard your voice too. We're gonna keep it that loud too. You know what it is though, man. And I'm here, man. We got another guest. Someone, I could say a lot. I'm honestly a fan. And if anyone knows me, I'm not a fan of a lot of different female rappers. And we'll talk about that in a minute. I'm gonna start off with that. But when it comes to Maya, her shit is on some other shit. I wouldn't even want to call her just a rapper because she sings. Her rhythms are beautiful, vibes are great. She has a new album that's out, C-Form. How do I say your last name one more time? How do I say the name? I don't want to mess it up on the intro. Go on the intro, you'll say your name.
Huyana.
Huyana.
Yeah.
Maya Huyana. Well, I said it good the first time. That was nice. That was a way better ring when you say it. I don't know. I tried. How you doing, Shawty? Welcome to the Big Cali World, man.
Thank you for having me in your world. In Cass's world.
Yes, man. Feeling good, feeling great as usual, man. We here, man. It was a journey.
It was.
I've been trying to get you here for a minute, man. It was just literally scheduling, life. You're one of the hardest working women out here, man. You always got some shows. You always got some hustle. You got the grills going.
Hell yeah.
Man,
always.
Feeling good. But you know what I wanted to also bring up, on the way up here, I was driving, I was listening to C-Form.
C-Form.
C-Form. Beautiful record.
Thank you.
And first off, you got a perfect balance because I feel like I'm in the 90s. And your ass ain't that old. I don't know how your young ass got that essence. How old are you, if you don't mind me? I know you ain't supposed to ask.
You're not supposed to ask, but I'm 28.
See, but you would think she making music as if she was like 40. She was out there in the 90s, like deep in, like she was in high school in the 90s. Like you have that vibe. Where did that come from? That essence come from in that vibe, man?
I think honestly because my parents are teen parents. I was born in 91 and they have younger siblings, so I grew up, I was the first grandkid and I was around a bunch of teenagers from the 90s.
Damn.
Essentially. So I grew up to that.
You were watching
gangsta
MTV
rap.
right with them.
Oh man, that's the only channel I knew. Apparently, that's my granny. She said I knew how to steal the remote and I knew one channel, which was MTV. That's on a Bible, so
you were chosen then. You knew the vibe then, man.
I was a different little kid, and I was around 90s music very heavily, from the gangsta rap era to like my mom had like Next Friday on cassette tape soundtrack.
Damn.
So I was
on cassette.
Yeah, and oh man,
that's rare.
It's very rare. She used to always skip the song.
Yeah,
because they got
I'm a
that
nigga
intro.
with an attitude.
Thanks to y'all.
Yeah.
She used to skip it because it had this intro that was real violent, especially for that time.
Yeah.
Now it's probably nothing. But so yeah, she used to skip it. So I'm a product of that sound. Sure.
I remember when I first heard the Friday soundtrack and Dr. Dre had that keep the heads ringing, and it was like fuck. So me and my cousins was running around saying that shit, and I got beat because I didn't know. I thought it was just like what the song said. I didn't know what he was saying.
What does he say?
My eyes said fuck. I'm black as hell or something. I don't know. Hey yo, Cass, what does he say on that hook? Do you know what he says, Cass? He over here like, I don't know. What does he say on that hook, Dr. Dre? Keep the head ringing. Where he's like fuck.
What's up?
I don't know. It sounds like curses. Anyway, yeah, I got my ass beat because of Dr. Dre. So yeah, we're gonna just quote that on that right there.
Shout out to Dr. Dre.
Shout out Dr. Dre. But nah, man. But honestly, when I hear the songs, you could tell though. Your parents had you listening to all the slaps as a kid. Were you like that kid that was like, did you like it? Or were you like, no, I don't like what you're listening to. I want to listen to what I listen to, and you just had to deal with it. And then you eventually realized what I was listening to was tight.
Well, my parents had tapes and my nana had vinyls. So I was always by myself as the first, grandkid. So I liked 70s music. I liked when my nana would play Marvin Gaye and
Yeah.
Fleetwood Mac, and then my tios would be playing Eazy-E and the Regal. You know, I'm no little curly haired girl running around with these vato looking fools.
So you're raised black. You're half black and half Hispanic. Mm-hmm. Wow. So you had that different, even cultural differences, even in that time. Because even earlier, you got two different vibes of cultures, like of even music. Even though it was tended together, but you knew about Celia Cruz and you knew about Whitney Houston. You knew about what's my other girl that passed away?
Selena.
So of course, Selena.
Yes, I love Selena.
Jenny Rivera. Is that Jenny? Come on, Big C. Don't mess this up. I know people gonna be like, fuck
Gloria
you.
Estefan.
Yeah.
Esteban. Like, I grew up listening to Spanish music, but my nana was a hippie, so she played a lot of 70s soul vinyl and Stevie Wonder songs in the key of life. Those were the first records I remember hearing were like Stevie Wonder, NWA, Bone Thugs. Like, this is what I was.
How old were you listening to NWA and Bone Thugs?
I shouldn't have been. I shouldn't have fucking been. Oops, can I cuss?
You can say whatever the fuck you want to say on this show.
Okay.
I ain't gonna promise every other show gonna be like this, but on this show, it's Big Cali world, man.
It's your world.
BU, it's my world. We out here. But
yeah,
nah.
so I had all that type of music, and like, I would always hear kids my age say they loved music, and I'm like, okay, you love music, but then I would show them some different shit, and they'd be like, that's not B2K, or you know what I'm saying? I'm like, but it's Fleetwood Mac.
So we could put this in. This is like 90. This is like 2000, 2002. And then you go into middle school and they pumping B2K on you.
And I'm like, well, what about, I don't know.
What about
Jodeci or like.
What about Ribbon in the Sky?
Yeah.
Have you heard this? They be like, hey, my nigga, hold up.
Right. Or if I showed my rock homies rap or vice versa. So that's when I realized people don't love music. Like, they love hip hop, or they love rock, or they love West Coast music, or they love, you feel me? Like, there's always an asterisk low key when you look at what you're playing every day. What do you love? It's not what you think you love, or what, like, no, you love the same 5 people or whatever you love. Like, but when you really love music, you'll play an EDM record, you'll play a rock record, you'll play. You feel me? You can't be kept in just one genre, as a listener or an artist. So I did like it, but I will say I did feel out of place.
Yeah, I'm about to say, like, because I felt like that as a kid too, because my dad grew up they're from the South. My dad was from New Orleans. So I listened to a lot of jazz, blues. I grew up listening to like John Coltrane, Miles Davis, Duke Ellington, and them cats. But I'm going to school and my friends is listening to like Coolio in elementary school, and I'm like, yeah, but what about Love Supreme? They like, hey, my nigga, are you talking about a Burrito Supreme? What are you talking? I don't know what the fuck you talking about, nigga. Like, nah, I don't want to hear that shit. Right. So I understand that misplacement, but you got to realize you were learning the foundation. Your parents wanted you to learn, like, all right, anyone can learn what's popping, but what like caused it to crack?
That was from my nana for sure. She's a woman who showed me vinyl. And she's one of the only people I know who genuinely listens to every genre, regardless of ethnicity, time of the decade when it came out. My nana is a very, very well versed, very like responsible music listener. You feel me? Like, she know. I don't know. She's a hippie. So 70s music was crazy.
So you were into like she was listening to like Pink Floyd.
Yes, she was playing like I remember she played Songs in the Key of Life. Carlos Santana. She was.
That's a great Stevie Wonder album. Songs in the Key of Life, man.
I knew that album very young, and from my mom's mom. So again, she's Latina, but she was a hippie. She loved black music. She showed me black music. She not black. You feel me?
So your mom that's Latina put you on basically African American music.
My mom's mom.
Your mom's mom.
My mom did listen to hip hop too. Remember, she had the Next Fridays. She showed me Beanie Man.
Wow.
She showed me, Latinos have a good palate for music.
Well,
though.
we all, we all
like,
come from the same.
Everything.
We all come from the same cloth, all right? It is what it is. In California, they try to brainwash us to make us like
you have black kids here playing rock and skateboarding.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So.
And if you can't lie, when Tony Hawk Pro Skater came out, every nigga in the hood was bumping rock. I don't give a fuck. It'd be real hood ass niggas bumping Sum 41 and shit like that going in.
The punk hip hop, the lineage of that is connected together, punk music and hip hop. So You know, it
I didn't know that.
it is because it was the rebel music of people of color, which is
Okay.
hip hop, and then punk was almost the rebellion to the like white elite type of people, and to disco. So the white people who were like, "Fuck this disco
Right,
shit." Like,
no,
this is
because
corny.
disco, you had to like come dressed, and it was like you
It's a
had to
class
be,
thing,
yeah.
totally.
And that's wow, you're absolutely correct, because that is how hip hop even came. Because literally the first hip hop shows were at like punk rock shows.
Totally.
That's why even Def Jam blew up, because they were one of the first labels to just finally take the mesh from rock and hip hop and put it together. You seen it with the Beasties, you seen it with Run DMC,
man.
with Aerosmith. That was the first one walked through. Like, you know your
Right.
shit. That's what I'm saying. You make sense, and I can hear it in your music.
Thank you.
You can. That's why I literally, because you know, it's when I was on the ride over here, I was going through the different tracks, and you start off your record, and it's a real like Coldplay, like bass line, the snare, the kick, everything was beautiful, and then it goes into like a melodic flow, and then it goes to like a West Coast hit. It's like a big bowl of gumbo. It's just a bunch of shit that's different, put together and great. Not shit, but you know what I mean. Sorry, my bad. I'm feeling. You know, I know you, man. You know what this is, man.
all
But that's so hard to do, and I could tell, like, even just the few minutes you were just saying right now, from you listening to Carlos Santana, listening to Pink Floyd, listening to NWA, all that stuff, and listening to what's new. Because I think that's the factor a lot of people don't say. A lot of people like, oh yeah, like, oh, they get stuck in only that bubble of listening to what's only
Real
listening to
hip
hip-hop or
yeah.
it's like, you gotta give Young Thug some credit. You gotta give some.
Oh, I love you. You have to. Anybody who birthed a sea of artists, give them credit, even if you don't understand their sound or get it. If you're birthing the next generation, you deserve some credit.
Who would you say some artists that helped you?
That birthed me.
That birthed
for
you.
Sure.
Who gave you
Kanye
birth?
West.
Yeezy?
I know every word to like the first 4 or 5 albums.
Damn.
I would say Kendrick later, you know, in the teen years, but growing up, Brandy, Aaliyah.
See, I knew it was like a switch, because I was gonna say I knew it was some R&B in there.
Yeah, Mary J. Blige.
All right,
Jaheim.
so I have a question then.
Yes.
You said Brandy, Aaliyah. What's your favorite Brandy album? I just want to know.
Man.
Your favorite one. You like the
I
first
think
one
her
better?
Debut.
Her
Her
debut?
debut. Because as a little girl, I'm seeing Brandy like she's the only black girl with a Barbie. Damn. She was
Cinderella.
Her fairy godmother's Whitney Houston. What?
Niggas don't give Brandy her flowers,
What?
man. Brandy
she's a
on
black Cinderella with braids. What? Who's this girl? And she's from LA? She's from the hood? Is she from like Inglewood or something?
I'm about to shed a tear right now. This is a lot.
Like,
this
come
is
on,
a lot, man.
Brandy, I used to watch Brandy as a little girl and watch her like next to Whitney Houston and watch her on her show. She had her own show that with a black family.
Moesha, that birthed a spinoff too.
Oh my God, like Brandy was everything that I wanted to aspire to be. She had a good image. You know, she wasn't.
Is that what you want to do with your? Would you say like she laid the groundwork for what you even see you want to do in your music? Not even so much Brandy, but even like the way she did it.
Totally,
like
because
total
Brandy was super
takeover.
West Coast too.
Exactly.
Don't get it twisted. Like
her
she
first song, literally you could have rapped on if you just took the beat.
She has Yo-Yo and Queen Latifah on a song with it.
I Want to Be Down. I Want to Be Down. That bass line.
Only Brandy could do that.
It just go right in hard.
That song was playing at Starbucks 2 days ago. So
shout out Brandy, get the Starbucks check. The Starbucks playlist.
Queen Latifah and Yo-Yo, bro. Like Brandy. If like there's I could count on my hands certain people I would meet and cry. I've met a lot of people.
Right.
I thought I would do that with Jamie Foxx because he's a well-rounded entertainer that I love.
Of course.
He's the only person I ever wrote a fan letter to. Keep it real. The only person as a kid.
You wrote a
I wrote
letter?
Jamie Foxx a fan letter.
I wrote a fan letter.
I never mailed it.
Hey, no cap. I wrote a fan letter to Outkast. When Stankonia came out, I heard So Fresh and So Clean and it changed my life. I was like, wait a minute. And then I went back and listened to Aquemini, and I went back and listened to Southern Playlist of Cadillac Music, and then I went to like Goody Mob. Then I like went all the way. It was like a rabbit hole. And then that was like deep in the YouTube era too, so it was like quick.
You could find. See, that's what I was about to say. Like our generation too, aside from you know, our different influence being from the West, just being a 90s baby, we're the first generation to be able to access music like instantly. So we all have a wider palette by, you know, regardless of where you're from, just in general, being from that generation, because we can go from here to here. And now I'm looking up who Big L is. And I don't even, that person died before I was even thought about or whatever, you know, like you can really study your music like as a listener and enjoy it, but it is kind of like studying the pathway of sound,
right? I think it's, and I always tell people too, that's why I collect a lot of vinyl, because I feel like it's like calling the ancestors, if you must say.
That's pretty deep.
Like that you listen, if you just don't know, you don't have an answer, and it's like, how did they do it? Because they created masterpieces. Man. It just seems like back in the day, like everything they did was like groundbreaking. It was just like, because it was the first of its kind.
They had less to do it too. They couldn't do a million takes with 50 with an orchestra. You had to do that motherfucker 3 times, or else you're gonna go over $6,000 in the 70s, or $10K or something.
Real to reals too.
So the quality and the greatness, it wasn't even, maybe they weren't even necessarily born with more skill, but due to the situation at the time, you had to get that on that first, you know, through third take, or you know, you had to create together. We couldn't just send each other verses. We had to go in the studio.
I love that send the verse, the send the verse cat, the send the verse life. I've seen, you know, it's funny, I have a lot of rap homies, okay? And I've seen some of my homies, like, you know, they may have gambling problems, or they may have problems with going out, or just spending money frivolously very fast. Like, rappers spend money so quick. Like, they get it and it's just, and then they're like, fuck. And then I see niggas like, okay, I need it. They'll like send an email or send a tweet, get like 6 beats sent to them. They'll just rent out a studio with the last money they got and just knock out like 10 verses, and all of a sudden they PayPal their back up. So that's the new culture that's going on. That couldn't have happened in the 70s. Niggas wasn't able
music was, it was absolutely collaborative. Now I can make a project by myself in a room, which there's good and bad to both, you know? But as far as having to nail things great in one take, you know, that was the generation that had to do that, because they didn't have the funds or the technology to fuck it up.
And
you had like, you know, you had to be on time. You had to be sharp. You had to be on the same, you know, page, tuned up, ready to go. So
now,
you know,
would you say like that punctuality in the studio? How was that process of you learning how to record? Because first off, before we even get there, hold on, I might get a little bit ahead of myself. How'd you even start getting into music? Like, you saying like, okay, I'm listening to music, I'm a little girl with my family chilling, now I want to start doing music. Or what did you do first? Or were you always just doing music? Like, did you do anything before that?
Well, I always started writing music since I was like 7 or 8. I always wrote poems and stories and music, but I never took it seriously, because although I had a lot of music, like different music listeners around me, I didn't come from musician family, and we didn't have a lot to be able to take piano lessons or something. So like, I always wrote music though. I was a weird little kid, man. I had like binders, like I had binders. So
how old were you when you first started writing
my first song? I wrote at 8.
Damn.
My
Do you
first
remember
poem
it?
I wrote at like, my first book I wrote before I could write words. I have it somewhere.
Wait a minute.
I made a picture book at like 3 years old, and like, it's a book though.
What was in your head at 3? It was just so much in there. You're like, all right, hold on, I gotta get this out. This word's just taking too long. I gotta figure out these words.
Well, I swear to God, I didn't know about this, but my Nana showed me. You know, Nanas keep everything.
I love your Nana. She keeps coming up.
She's my angel, man. I grew up with her for my first, maybe till I was about 7 or 8. And she was a hippie, so she was never mean to me. We never argued. Like we got along great.
I understand you're free spirited though. You can even tell you've always been that free spirited, and that came from your Nana, you'll say?
Totally. And my grandpa, my dad's from Jamaica, and he's first generation American. He passed away before I got heavily into music, but I think that his spirit for sure is with me. Like, like I'm him, because just that's crazy to think, you know, him coming from here in the 70s by himself from Jamaica to Cali, not knowing anybody, to San Bernardino.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, San Bernardino was better than Jamaica. Whatever was happening.
Wait a minute. My nigga came from Jamaica How did he know San Bernardino?
That's what I'm saying, man. I don't know. There's quite as kid. There's also a lot of random fact, a lot of Eritrean people in San Bernardino too. I don't know how that happened, but it's Cali brings people for opportunity, especially in the 70s for Black people.
Right.
A lot of our families moved west as well from the South.
Of course. So my dad moved from Baton Rouge in like the early 60s, 70s, like around that time to LA. And then from LA they moved to Moreno Valley, and then from Moreno Valley moved back to LA, and that's where he met my mom.
Okay.
And then blah blah blah. And that,
so we can't see Cali brings us here because something I don't know, because I never got to ask him. Rest in peace to my grandpa,
R.I.P.
Grandpa Darby. But my point being is just like that all that is who I am, and so my nana to him, like gravitating toward the music just was a hobby, to kind of like just a private thing. I would have notebooks of music, poems, stories, but I never did nothing with them. And then I always performed though, dancing, singing, but never my own stuff, if that makes sense. Like,
right.
I just always stashed it. Then I met Noah James.
Dang, shout out big bro.
I met him because I was modeling for Mo Vintage.
Shout out Mo Vintage.
And I was working for the radio station. So one time.
What radio station?
Coyote Radio, Cal State San Bernardino.
Okay. Oh, so you were at Cal State San Bernardino. What year? Freshman? Sophomore?
Sophomore year, and I met the whole. I discovered this area of the underground by, like, first I was modeling for them, then I met all the artists, and I started playing their music faster. Like they'd be like, yeah, email. I'm like, fuck the email, give it to me. Or, I would come try to get them interviews. Like, I just immediately became a part of this community before I did music. Then I would go to their shows. So then I just started realizing what the hell? Like, I could do this? Like, nah, I don't. I feel like our region is tight. The IE is tight. But I would.
Was there a moment where you realized something was lagging, and you're like, I could fill this gap? I'm sick of going out and outsourcing. I'm sick of fucking with these niggas and they're not doing this. Or was there a moment where it was like, all right, I'm gonna do this myself?
There's two. The first one was when I decided I should rap or sing, because I would go to Rock the Bells and all these shows working for the radio station. Before I did music, I loved going to concerts. Like, I was always in music. You feel me?
Yeah.
So I was helping artists. Like, I was in it, but I wasn't doing it. So I started seeing these niggas. I'm not going to say no names, but niggas. I'm really not, but because their generation is too fucking sensitive, I'm not going to.
I feel you. No, you're right.
I'm not trying to get blackballed before I get,
Don't worry about it.
But the point is, I seen this nigga so high at Rock the Bells, collecting a check, falling asleep on stage. I was like, bro, these niggas can rap. These niggas got 200K to do that. I'm bullshitting.
I remember when I went to one of my first big raves. It was Nocturnal. Mm-hmm. And I saw a very, very popular DJ. And I was like, man, he's dope. And then I looked, and I was like, wait a minute, he's not moving his hands.
I was
like, wait a minute, he's not moving his hand. I know DJing because I watched Alfalfa, and I was watching Corn Breeze, growing up, a lot of the pioneer DJs like Jimbo Jenkins, out here, even Gabriel, all of them. I'm over here shouting out DJ. You can tell I'm a DJ.
Yeah,
I didn't get niggas in. But just some of the pioneer DJs when I first started, and I would be like, these niggas always moving and sweating and going and mixing, and it sounds a little off but on, and that's the tight shit.
Totally.
And I knew then I had the ear, but I didn't know why I had the ear. But now I'm going and watching some of these EDM DJs at these, I'm like, they're literally just turning a knob.
That nigga
and
got
just
how much money?
400 racks, 500 racks. And I was like, you know what?
I could do this.
The hustle in me. But that's how it's sick. It started off okay, I could do this shit.
Fuck these niggas.
Fuck these niggas.
I could do this.
And then it turned into a love. Whereas I didn't want to I don't want to exploit it. Mm-hmm. It's I want to learn the art of mixing.
Because so many people skip it. They skip the fundamentals, or they don't to me, I always have this saying, it's not enough to just respect something. It's not enough to just love something. You literally have to respect, love, and like it. If you don't have all three of those things, whether that's for a woman, whether that's for what you're doing, whether that's
Can you repeat that one more time? I like that. Respect,
love, and like it. Respect, love, and like it. That's how I feel about hip hop. I don't just love that shit. I respect that shit. I don't cut corners. You feel me?
You don't.
I don't, and even if you don't like my music or like me, like that's why I'm saying like people be like, oh, I don't like mumble rap or so and so. Young Thug gave birth to a generation of MCs. So whatever he's doing, he respect, loved, and liked that. Like it shows. There's no way you can't have a longer influence. You can have quick influence.
Yeah.
But you know, anything of longevity, you need all three. And a lot of people just get the check, and then they're gone within 5 years.
Damn.
Or 3 years, or they got one festival. Did they get any more?
Talk to me.
Why?
Talk to me.
Because
we've seen that. How about this? We've seen that in the Inland Empire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people getting huge opportunity, but they weren't trained up for that. You can do it once, but can you duplicate it?
Mm-hmm.
You can I'll never seen that dude at Rock the Bells again after that year.
Damn.
And I'm sure he still got bread and shows, but my point is like, if you
had the platform,
yeah.
and you had the platform, you had the opportunity, to play the ball.
Like you know that you could have went to the league, but
yes.
you didn't practice every day. You was, whatever you was doing.
Yeah.
But deep down you should have done that. So that's kind of when I saw music rap like, man, you're tripping. You have way more dedication or way more class, like whatever that was,
Where did that dedication, where did that discipline come from?
Respect, love, and like.
But like, where did even
rap if I don't rap every day? Like, nigga, it's not even hard to. It's not hard to be good at something. Like
10,000 hours.
Dude, I had a list on my phone the first day I ever went to the studio, a big studio. God in heaven, I'll email it to you. I'll forward it to you. And it was a 10,000 hours list for music.
Damn.
Because I felt like I was behind everybody. Because I didn't take it seriously or believe or try it.
So how old were you when you took it serious?
21, 22. Damn. I was halfway through college, and I saw you guys, and I saw this network, and I started just being a friend to everybody,
right.
Putting people music on. I didn't go in there like, nigga, can you record me? It was like, no, I love these artists.
Yeah.
These are for, there's a whole group of us here. Like, hold on. Not just my college friends,
yeah.
but
other people from other regions that doing what I'm doing and have the same interests.
Yeah. Born in Moreno Valley, born in Riverside, born in Ladino, born in Rialto.
Yeah.
And so when I found my friends, I found you guys, and then their network extended to y'all, to my Riverside network,
right.
To Demore and all you guys. But at first I was just breaking bread, coming to shows, just hanging out, doing shoots. But then
so you did the pay to play?
I've never done pay to play.
Oh, okay.
I almost did though. I'm not against it, but I never did. I've never done pay to play. And
Can I be real with you?
Hell yeah.
I'm not against pay to play, but I am against pay to play.
You're not against it because it's a certified trap right now. It makes sense in 2020.
Yeah.
For someone to be doing it.
Yeah.
But the artist in you hates it because why the fuck am I paying you to perform?
It's just like, when we just jug together.
Thank you.
Like, why you gotta make me really bet on my? I feel like you don't believe.
That's the hustle part of the industry expanding, right?
Yeah.
Fortunately and unfortunately, if you do pay to play, it just has to make sense. Like if Janae Aiko did a concert at the Observatory and had pay to play, I would do that. Bitch, give me those tickets. But I'm not doing
pay to play at fucking Chicken Strip. Or some fucking whatever, little dive bar or whatever in fucking Rialto or something. I'm not about to drop the 150 to do 40. But it's funny.
3 songs.
But and I've seen that, and the only reason I know this is because I've seen this. They try to do it to my friends, especially in the beginning stages.
Emails that say
in the beginning stages, and it'd be like spots. I'm like, bro, it wasn't even that cracking.
I'm not paying you for me to drive to you to entertain your crowd.
Yeah.
And then use my DJ, who also I didn't get to give money to.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna leave, and what happened? It has to make sense. If there's an artist that fits your demographic, whose fans are your fans, you could steal their fans. I'm not gonna go do a 6ix9ine pay for play. Why? My music, we have different fans.
But Janae, I believe
Currency, even that's something that would make sense for me. But
I love Currency. Sorry, side note.
Me too. Shout out to Spitter.
Shout out to Spitter. But man.
If it was up to me, I would eliminate all pay for play. I'd make it illegal. But because artists are already not paid shit. The fuck? However, I respect the hustle. So if you have a venue and you're a trapper and an artist wants to give you money to perform,
Fuck it.
Get your bread.
Yeah.
guess.
You know what? The thing that's interesting about that whole is like your whole process, you're a real hustler. Like I've seen you even in the beginning stages when you did music, like, cause I could be clear, like I knew you from the internet cause I saw I knew you from afar. I knew you kind of from music, but not really. It was more so modeling.
Yeah,
I liked your
more
pictures.
vintage.
You always knew how to work a camera. You always knew how. You always did that. But also, when you start doing music, I was like, okay, I mean, model doing music, same thing I've seen. Okay. But then it was like, I don't know, Shawty keep doing this every week though. She's dropping a new, now she's doing West Coast Wednesdays where she's freestyling, asking people, what should I freestyle on? And then she's dropping music. Okay, I'm still like, all right, let me just see. Then I see you not only dropping music, but you're doing every show that either I'm doing, working with all my peoples. I'm like, wait a minute, who is this person? Finally check it out. I'm like, wait a minute. Not only she rapping, she's singing. Then you worked with Demore and you did that song with him, Lost in Love.
Yes.
Then I was like, wait a minute. She over here on some R&B shit now? Like,
Hell yeah. Do you know how me and Demore met? Side note?
how do you and Demore meet? I need to hear this. This is nice.
This is a hilarious story. Before we did music, I performed always. I always danced, sing, acting, whatever.
Yeah.
We had a class at RCC together.
Shout out RCC.
It was like a performing, acting class. Matter of fact, and Demore had no long hair.
He had the fade. He had the low fade, the chill fade. Nah.
And then we just were a lot alike in class, like more quiet, but we knew what the fuck was going on. Like, you feel me? And we had a great teacher. His name was Corey Sorensen. Shout out to him because that fool is a real actor too. He just teach because he liked teaching.
Damn.
But, yeah, he's worked on all kind of shit. But anyway, that's how me and Demore met. We bonded over that. Then and remained friends. Both stopped going to that school. But then once I started doing music, we
came together.
He was in the network. The little underground I never knew. All the friends I never knew I wanted and needed.
That's so tight. And what's interesting is I remember. Okay, side note, it's funny because Demore is like my unofficial, unblooded cousin. That's like my brother. Like I've known him since I was in high school. Like we've been 1-on-1. That's my boy. But anyway, he invited me one day, I think to your birthday party years ago in like Redlands at some random bar. But the bar was swag. Like it was a wine bar and it had like the vibes. And I remember you, and it was like you and your homegirls, and it was like a cool, like quaint thing, but it was dope. And then I didn't see you again until you did music. It was like weird how like I seen you.
It comes full circle because you are what you attract. If you're a real artist, you're gonna start finding other artists to become friends with.
Exactly.
Even if you're like, how do I do this? It just happens.
Yeah, and I seen you back then. That had to be over 10 years ago.
That was a while ago.
And literally since then, you haven't stopped grinding. You've metamorphosized into this now person that I see here, who is almost a triple, quadruple threat of hustle. I'm just gonna say just hustle, not even of just, I don't even want to, because as artist is one part, but it's not like you ain't out here, because there's a lot of artists out here that just, I'm an artist, and you might see something every once in a while. You might see, no, I know I'm gonna get 2 freestyles from you, a visual every 3 months, a project every 6 months. Like, you're on to it. What went into that process of getting that discipline, putting that together of your music and your art? Like, what went into that?
I would say 2 things, which one, respect, love, and light. I told myself I was going to do this, so I'm going to do it. I'm not going to cut corners. And then also, I have OCD. So like when I like something, I over like it. Like I start doing music, I start loving it too much, almost. Like it's crazy. I like recording. Oh wait, engineering? I'm sick of paying for studio time, and I'm sick of these niggas. So let me just pay this money and get it set up. And shout out to Nabian and a few engineers who have shown me some ropes. But most of that was just my own motivation to love music. I love music every day. I do music every day.
So you started recording yourself?
Mm-hmm.
When was that? Like out the gate?
Probably within the year. Because the place one thing about going to the studio in San Bernardino is it's ghetto. So this was out of necessity. Like, so let me tell you my first time going to the studio. One of my first times. I was trying to go to my homie's studio in Rialto, borderline Dino, right? And I was trying to get in this lab. It was a good studio. And you know what happened? The studio got closed because the nigga robbed it for the guns. So I'm like,
wait,
all right.
What?
That's why I couldn't go to the
studio. He got robbed?
So these are like.
So your Rialto dreams got crossed out over
I
a
couldn't
robbery.
find a studio there, right? Then like I'm trying to find a studio online in San Bernardino. I cannot find one. Like, you know, I'm having trouble just finding a studio in the Inland Empire that, you know, in my particular network at this time. Now a lot of us have equipment. That's one thing about the IA. It was like, oh, there's no studios. Well, within 5 years, I know a bunch of studios now.
Yeah, exactly.
But at that time, you know, you got to go to LA to get into a professional studio that's worth paying.
And you had to pay the check.
And you had to travel. You know, you had to like it's. So at first I was just trying to find different, like a place out here, and every time I would find somewhere, something would happen. So then like I got invited to the studio by Cassius from Shady Records. Shout out to him, because I don't know if he's still signed to Shady, but he was at the time. And that was my first major session, like I signed artists. And I was like, okay, this is what it's supposed to be. And that was in Orange County. Still far.
Did people, when you first began in the studio, when you walked in with all those men, were they not taking you serious?
Oh, Cassius, manager at the time? Oh, God, this is some tea. Crazy story. So I rode the train out there from Riverside to Orange County for an 8 a.m. session in Orange County with Cassius. He pulls up, gets me with his manager. We get into the lab. He's like, all right, so I'm going to put the beat on and, you know, go in your corner and write, take your time. You know how shit go.
Yeah.
We do the same.
Yeah.
His manager, I swear to God, his manager turned around and was like, she's about to write? Like, I'm
sorry
not
to
lying.
laugh.
I'm not. I
wait,
could never
so
forget
just out
that.
of nowhere, like, wait, what the fuck?
And I'm super blessed because, like, I have only a few, like, almost like chauvinistic type of memories. I'll honestly say I live in a great area. You feel me? None of this network ever has tried me on some weird shit or nothing. Or you
Real
know, like,
shit. Thank
I'm
you.
allowed. Yeah, I'm blessed to be a female MC in the IE because my brothers always open doors for me or collab with me and don't harass me or leave me out.
Real shit.
I'm never left out here.
Real shit.
You know, and I love that about our network and our underground, our little arm over here. But anyway, so his manager looked like he saw a dead ghost of his like great grandpa or some shit. He was like, she's about to write? And I just looked like, bro, why the fuck would I hop on a train at 6 a.m. to be here, to be a groupie?
Damn.
The only bitch here?
So where did you take the train from?
Just Riverside to Orange County. But it was at 6 a.m.
Wait a minute. Don't say like just. That's an hour.
It was a move.
That was an hour move, 45 to an hour move, jug.
To have to be in my first big studio with a signed artist, you know, who I felt was reputable.
So what did you do right after that? Were you just like...
No, Cassius stood up for me. Straight up.
Wow.
Cassius looked at him like,
Real
yeah,
shit.
nigga, the fuck? You think she rode the, like, what do you, like, you know, but then I knew I had to spit, you know, I knew that was my first time I've been tried like that. So I was like, man, fuck this nigga. And I spit this. I'll send you the song another time. It's up, but it's on Cassius shit. It's my first song I ever recorded, and
damn.
And so like
your first song was with a signed artist out the gate that you would say that you took it serious.
My first song might have been with like Cam Gnarly. But
damn,
like,
shout out Cam Gnarly.
Yeah, shout out to him for sure. That might have been like.
Did he help you like even morph to even write? Like how was even that process when you first recorded?
With Cassius?
Or even in general, recording music.
Nobody had to help. I know how to write. I already knew.
Oh yeah, because you just said you already had your books of music already like that.
Them. You know,
Gotcha.
a chorus. Once somebody told me like how to find a chorus,
yeah,
where 4 bars, 16. Absolutely.
Counting bars is an art in itself to me.
Yeah, because, you as a poet, you want to say too much.
Yeah.
You can't say as much, or you can't talk as fast as your words, so you got to cut words out. But, so Cassius pretty much just was like, nigga, FOH. He didn't say FOH. But
yeah, basically.
He wouldn't say that, but yeah. And
basically,
then,
fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
do your
then,
shit.
and then we came together, and like my verse, the manager was just looking like with the eyed ass face. Like, he was like, okay, and he did give me some props, and he was like, okay, like, but that wasn't even mad like chauvinistic, I think he did think I was just there to be a pretty face in the studio.
You have to accept that. You have to accept that in the beginning. It's not right.
Yeah,
it's
it
not
always
right.
happens, and I have to physically make sure that I'm paying attention even more almost, so people be like, oh wait, she's looking at the engineer like cut things up, so
and you can't judge a book by its cover in that time. I'm glad we're moving into a time of hip hop now, and I'm kind of glad we're talking about this because female rappers
they're killing it.
They're killing it now. Probably more than I've seen in any time.
And there's so many underground, even if you're not into the, whatever, the A-list type of sound right now.
Yeah.
There are so many underground female spitters that, man, they can hold their own and pass up.
Yeah.
And any male MC. It's not about gender. It's just about who have bars.
Exactly.
Like the 80s, man.
But I'm going to be real, Maya. So here we go. You say that, but in real life, you almost have to accept the gender is there.
It is just like
it's
people say, I don't see color.
Yeah, it's there. It's there.
But I would say for me, like being like a free black woman, being from Cali, a very progressive place.
Yeah.
How I move is different because I just feel like who's the best? Like again, respect, love, and like who the fuck been in the gym shooting? It'll show. And people don't expect you. I think with me, they don't expect me to have any substance. It's not necessarily talent.
I think that's a lot, but that's all right. Here we go. I'll take this role. Could you blame them? What's out there as far as female rap right now that's popular on the charts? That's thrown at you every day that you see. Even let's throw away the underground. I'm talking about popular top 40 rap that's logical. We got most of the people like Cardi B, Sweetie, Cash Doll, City Girls.
Right.
That's female rappers. Lizzo is tight. I mean, and that's a whole nother thing. I don't even know if she's rap, but anyway,
But
I love Lizzo. Lizzo's hard as fuck, and shout out to A Grammy nods. But I feel like even putting her just in the rap is like, damn, did you listen to her album? It was like beyond rap. Like she was on some other shit.
Yeah.
She has rhythms
Some
like rap,
shit.
but she was on some other shit. But anyway, that's the norm right now in female rap. A lot of girls are out there selling sex and selling that image more than the quality of like bars and music.
Right.
And then if you could somehow
or they don't write the bars when they got the bars.
That's how do you feel? Okay.
Yeah. Which I can agree with that.
But how do you feel about the current state of hip hop then when it comes to female rap then like that? Do you feel like that's okay, that's the norm, or even do you agree with that norm of like women having to do that? And does it have a factor even in your music when you go to write music? Like but you don't even have that kind of bar. Like it's different. I don't know.
If I came out right now with a song talking about suck on my pussy, nigga, every nigga in here that know me would be like, what the fuck happened?
It will fuck me up, but I might spin it. It might be popping because you're a great artist.
It's like we all have.
But I get what you're saying.
Like we all have our lanes. You know what I'm saying? So people know that I'm not a sex doll. If you knew me before music, I didn't wear certain things or like carry myself a certain way. There's nothing wrong with a woman being sexually liberated or free, but it's all in your style, right?
Right.
So with me, like I'll talk about anything because I'm an artist, but guess who I grew up listening to? I grew up looking at Toni Braxton, Mariah Carey, Destiny's Child, TLC, bro. Left Eye is one of my favorite rappers that constantly gets left out of the conversation.
I'm so glad you brought up Left Eye.
So,
Left Eye's so hard.
Missy Elliott. None of these women wanted to be each other, Big C. None of them did. And they were all sexy, but they were all classy too in their own way. They were sexual beings. But I would say there was a lot more diversity growing up. Every girl was different color, different type of hair. Mariah didn't want to be Beyonce, didn't want to be Aaliyah, didn't want to be Mary J. Blige, didn't want to be Toni Braxton, didn't want to be Britney Spears, didn't want to be the motherfucking Spice Girls.
Right.
Like every single woman in the 90s almost that I grew up looking up to had her own swag.
Yeah.
And now the swag is sex. You can have sex in your swag, but why is your whole swag sex? Now, that might not be her fault. That might be her label. That's why I can never condemn. You know, I try not to be preachy, although I do. Like, I have a lot of little girls.
I see the Twitter.
Your Twitter, you look up to me.
Yeah, you speak real though. Mm-hmm. It's not like you're very pro woman. You're very pro feminist, black, like liberated. But you can even hear it in your bars, and that's why I respect you though, because you're trying to push an agenda. It's not like you're just making music. Yes.
You know, that's one of my first CDs I ever had was Miseducation. So it's not that I'm like, anytime there's certain things that are easier to talk about because they don't make you think or they don't stimulate.
I'm trying to look up this song right now that I heard of you. I'm sorry, keep going. I'm so sorry. Hold on. It's in my head because I have to reference it because it goes right with Pay Me. The All Money In.
Yeah.
And that song, in between that, Bloodbath, or even on your record, you can hear you. I was like, okay, hold on. She's spitting some real shit.
Thank you.
And those particular songs, I heard it. Even in those, I was lit. So even just go into like your message with that. Like, what's your vibe with that? You mentioned Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
She was always about liberate because she came out when sex was in between
She was
Little
one
Kim.
of one, yes.
In between Little Kim, fucking Foxy Brown.
Yeah.
And then it was like Lauryn Hill. And then she dropped it and just won everything. It was too deep. Nobody was ready.
I watched a Lauryn Hill documentary last night, ironically, and like, you're so right about that. Her timing and being in a male hip hop group from New York, like, you know, everything about her was just rare. But one thing that I think as a black woman is I'm tired of these options that we're given. Like, why do I have to shake my ass in your video?
Right.
Can I be a fucking producer on the video sometimes? Can I have my clothes on?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Nigga, do you walk around naked all the time? I be looking at some of these outfits like, that's a bad bitch right there, because I couldn't wear that all the time. You know,
naked,
it's nothing against her. That's nothing against her. It's against me.
Yeah.
If you know, then you know I'm not a sex kitten. Like, I'm not that girl. I'm gonna show up. I might have the same fit you got on. Quiet as kept. I might have a hoodie and some Adidas pants. I actually almost wore those today. So, you know what I'm saying? So I try not to be anti anything as I watch the way I express myself, being pro something. But as a black and Latina woman, like, god damn, can we do something else?
Yeah.
Can we talk about things like why do we have to be sexy and like, or why do we only have to be sexy? Why can't we be sexy this day and then be political?
Yeah.
Like, Barbie gets to wear every outfit. Why can't I wear every outfit? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey.
But
I like how you said that though. That
like,
makes perfect sense.
Like, damn, like I can, or why am I always the only black female writer in every session? Like, I don't, that hurts me to see that. That's not that I'm against Shorty who don't write her raps.
Yeah.
But that means how many, or, you know, like when they get like, you know, how Zoe Saldana played like Nina Simone.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hey, I fucking hated that shit. I saw that piss me off.
That was 10 steps back for Afro Latinos all around the world.
It was.
I'll drink to that.
It's okay. It happens.
But shit like that, you couldn't find, you got Renee Zellweger playing
I know what you're talking about.
What?
No, they were trying to have Julia Roberts play Harriet Tubman. They were gonna say they wanted her to play Harriet Tubman.
You're kidding. I thought that was just a troll.
No, that was real. That was a real situation. But
see, my point is, there's only one story being told by black women on the A-list. There's not a bunch of stories.
Yeah,
it's one story, and it's sexual. And there's not.
Halle Berry didn't get her Oscar until she did Monsters
Busted
Ball.
It open. I'm just saying.
Facts. She didn't lose in Isaiah.
And Denzel didn't get one till what?
Training day. And
Woo, till he had to do what?
he had to get hood.
Murder niggas and
Yeah.
sell crack. Bro, I'm not trying to get deep, but I'm just saying,
You
why
make sense. You
why
make
are these
sense.
the
I'm not-
only stories we get to tell at a high level? Why can't there, for every, okay, but this is how a label works. You got 10 rap spots, right? 8 of them are going to go to men. 1 might go to a woman, 1 might go to, the new generation. No, just kidding. You might get 2 to go to a woman, right?
Don't start. I see. Look,
All right, so-
we ain't got shit. That's what really is. Nah, I mess with you. I love it.
So you might get 2 to women, right?
Yeah.
Well, 7 of them niggas is going to get shelved anyway, of those 10. So let's male or female, right?
Yeah.
Then out of those, so what are your odds right now, right?
It's deep.
And then 2 of those spots are are more sex kittens.
So you got to do what works.
I'm saying.
Or
so,
just gamble.
Man, it's a gamble, and then you get a rare Lauryn Hill who gets an opportunity. The Fugees. What I learned last night was the Fugees had like 7 deals on the table. They took the cheapest deal for the least amount of money with the most creative freedom.
Damn.
So that's why their first album flopped. It only sold like they said 20 copies. But
Wait, that
whatever.
first album wasn't
Not the one where they're looking real Godfathers.
Yeah.
That was the second one.
What was the first album?
I don't know what it's called, but you know some of the songs. We need to go to Apple Music.
Hold on, you fucking me up right now. Wait a minute. The Fugees had a first album before that. I thought they only came out with one album.
No, and one of the songs on there.
Hey, you're fucking
You
me
do.
up right now.
So they took a bad, not bad deal, but they took a lot less money to keep that creative control. That might have been one of the best things that they never knew for Lauryn Hill. That being her group mates to all be on the same page with that, because then Lauryn Hill, obviously we know how history goes, made a miseducation, but
Yeah.
my point is, like, they allowed her to tell a story. And she had to stand by it because it almost didn't come out, but they took the chance. And people like Ava DuVernay, people like Tierra Whack, people like Rhapsody,
Yeah.
Kamaya, people like Missy Elliott, these are women that they embrace sexuality, but they tell stories.
Right.
They're allowed to, or they make themselves allowed to be heard, to share anecdotes or their feelings, or be pro-black, pro-women, and not just sell sex. A lot of times when you sign as a woman, you have to sell your body and your music. You're willing to sell your music, but are you willing to sell your body, sis? And everybody got different levels of comfort.
Yeah.
You get a chance, watch a documentary about Maya, MYA.
Hey, you know what's interesting about Maya?
Oof.
What happened with her whole life? I wondered because she was like
was
the
on.
biggest star ever. And then they
Like
just
the Rugrats movie song.
take me there. I want to be. That was a beautiful Damn, what happened with her? I gotta watch. Is a documentary on her life?
Yeah, there's different different interviews she's done, but basically they were trying her. They kept trying her. They kept trying to make her sell certain stuff she didn't want to sell, or be set in sexual positions she didn't want to be in, and she was just over it. And now she's indie, and her first independent album, actually, it did go gold. So Ashanti now owns her masters. You feel me? Women are starting
Sierra
to...
owns hers too. Shout out Russell
Sierra
Wilson.
does too.
Shout out Russell.
So women are, and those women, they pretty much did. Shanti and Sierra did they liked the way they were grown. They were marketed very well.
Yeah.
Sierra was marketed well, but rappers, they're singers. Female rappers. Let's talk about those. How we always have to be sex kittens.
I don't
what
know.
if I don't want to be sexy today?
You're just gonna be underground.
Man,
I think those are those the options?
it feels like that, because even me, bigger doors I've stepped into was way more compromised, absolutely, and less creative freedom to tell my story or look how I want to look. So there's definitely it's just, we deserve to have more stories told and more perspectives.
Yeah.
Not every real woman is walking around in a onesie with a thong 7 days out the week. There's nothing wrong for the women that are.
Yeah, but
like, damn,
that's not a normal situation.
What about the girl in school, or the girl, the girl who isn't sexy? She's something else. She's funny.
Yeah.
She's creative.
Do you think it's already taking that switch? Do you think we're going towards that turn?
I think music definitely has patterns, and it never stays in one place for long.
Yeah.
And I think that the way that males are also like how I feel like in my network, you guys are my brothers and you give me opportunities. I think the more black men and men who are the change, that creates lanes too. So it's bound to change. You feel me? The less people who look at me crazy for rapping or for, if I came in and completely covered, they would still go to my show.
Right.
Like people like that are what's gonna make sure it never stays there for too long. So that way everyone can have a place. Yeah. Not just people with that type of, that look or that message.
Do you want to stay independent or do you want to sign? What route you want?
That's a question I get a lot, but I have some labels I would sign too, but I would say I foresee myself remaining independent because I think people would try to change me. But there are some labels, and not just, from being on the internet, being around these people, their team, that I would highly consider.
Gotcha. That was a very politically correct question. I love the way you did that. That was great.
Like, I'll tell you what. Like, I would sign to Dreamville right now if they gave me the right amount of money because they're always on tour. None of them get shelved.
Touché.
I know them. I've met Earth Gang, Jid. I've been around them to know their vibes. I've been to shows. Yeah. I've met some other people of their team, and like I've done a cause show. Yeah. And the vibe was good. So I would sign to Dreamville because they look happy. Right. I don't see them complaining on Twitter about J. Cole or getting shelved. I would sign to Spitta. Yeah. I would sign to Spitta.
That would be fucking tight. Fucking jet
he needs a female, and I would sign to Spitta.
he needs a female. Hey, put it out there. Put it out there in the atmosphere.
Somebody tell Spitta. Noah tell Spitta.
Hey, man. So, man, you let us know a lot, man. And that's why
you're my friend.
And that's what's great. No, that's what the show's for. That's what the platform's for. You're the first female rapper period on this show. You're the first female on Big Cali World. Hey. So that's why, and I've always been a fan of even talking with you. Not even talking with you, but your music, and you're just a good person. And that's what I always love, man. So what just to like, for someone that might be in the Inland Empire, that's a female who might want to do music, who is the quote unquote pretty girl, because and that might only think, oh, I'm just a model, I'm just gonna take that route and maybe do me or whatever. What advice would you have for her to take a route to just be true to her? Maybe not do what's normal to the route of like, oh, this is what you got to do, A, B, C, and then you'll be good. Like, no, take a risk, do it. What advice would you say?
I would say for males and especially for females, especially for us, like a lot of people want to do music for the wrong reasons, period. Yeah. So if you know that you want to do it for the right reasons, you have a responsibility almost you have fans that need to hear you. If you know you're writing songs, and you're stashing them, that's just like, okay, you have the best cake you ever made, but nobody can try it. So I would say just like really examine why you want to do entertainment, period, as a person. And then if that's what you want to do not allow one way to be your way, because there's no book on this shit. There's no 4-year plan. There's no, every day something's being invented that affects music every day, every week. Right now, Instagram is good. One day Instagram is gonna be gone and something else will be there, just like MySpace and everything else. So like never feel like there's a one size fits all plan, because there's not even any plan for anybody for this. Right. And also like never like this is what I heard Maya say, the Big Maya. Big Maya. She said this, like, don't ever do something that compromise like your soul. Like, don't ever feel, if that's the room you're in, that's probably not the room for you. So I would just say, I modeled because I liked modeling. I wanted to be Tyra Banks too, and Brittany. So like, but then I realized that industry wasn't allowing me to express my gifts all the way. It wasn't allowing me to do much as far as what I wanted. Right. I wasn't into fashion. that much. Like, I like music. I like
Exactly.
music. I'm writing music every day.
You like the fact of walking and performing and being in front of people.
Yeah, that's the element that modeling is. But
Yeah.
I knew I should have been doing music. So if you're that person, do like what you're supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
And then respect, love, and like it. And you'll never find one path you have to take, man. I've walked away from so much shit that people would be like, this bitch is crazy.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, bro, like, Ari the Rugged Man brought me out a week ago. Or 2 weeks, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but it ain't that. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep.
I think you just leave it in God's hands and you just go with the flow.
And I try to treat people good.
Right.
You know, to where I love artists.
Right.
Like I love my friends. I love going to shows before I did music.
Yeah.
There was already in me. So
Yeah.
I try to not make it about me when it gets hard.
Right.
But you know, just say, do you, boo? Like, don't let these niggas make you twerk if you don't want to twerk.
I love it, man.
If you want to twerk, then go by all means, have a great time. But always remember, you can be who you are and find that success.
I love it, man. So, Maya, man, where can people hear? Because you gave us a lot of job. I know people gonna listen to this interview and be like, okay, I gotta hear her music now. I gotta see what her visuals is on. I gotta see if she really about what. And I can assure you, that's why I had her on the show, man. She's about what she's talking about, man. She's not just up here talking because it sounds good. She lives about this. After she leaves, she's gonna keep doing this. And so, where can people get your stuff? Where can people hear your music?
You can find me on all digital streaming platforms. Maya Huyana, that's May with an A, like Angelou. Huyana, Huyana. And you can connect with me on Instagram.
Where did that come from? Is that your actual name? Is that your physical name? Or how'd you come up with that? Yeah.
So I kind of went through this wokeness period of like just learning about myself as a black person in America, and I liked how Muslims change their name to reclaim themselves. Though I'm not Muslim.
You just like the act of doing that.
I learned about their religion a little bit, and like I just felt like my last name is like an Irish slave name from Jamaica. So like I was just like, man, I wanted to keep my name because Nas, real name, stage name. How could you let these niggas play you? So I was wanting to be Maya still, but like, there was already Maya.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck. They're like, yeah, she's gonna sue you if you ever get big.
Yeah.
All right. So I found this native name, and this Huyana, which means falling rain.
Falling rain.
So I added it. If there was not a Maya, I would have probably.
So how'd you find it? You just researched it on Google, and you're just like.
I pretty much just look up Native American names what would fit good. Kind of, how Jamie Foxx changed his name?
Yeah.
Halle Berry.
Yeah.
But I just kept my birth name is Maya.
Okay.
That's Maya. But then I was like, there's already one, so I gotta just add a last name.
Gotcha.
And then I found Huyana, and I was like, this is pretty cool.
I love it. Thank it, man.
You.
So it's on all streaming services, YouTube, C-Form.
Mm-hmm.
Get it. It's an amazing album.
Get it all.
And man, thank you honestly for coming on the show, man. And
thank you.
It's been a pleasure. It's some gems. I hope some of y'all wrote this down, took some notes. And honestly, man, and also Cass One, I appreciate you for on the ones and twos, man. You've been keeping it good.
Shout out to Cass playing the smooth grooves.
Oh, it's a vibe, man, definitely. And also for all your podcast needs, audio and visual, go to productiveculture.com/podcast. And then how did you hear about us section? Put in Big Cali World. They'll get you that special discount. Have your podcast sounding right, looking good, and feeling great. Also, for all your clothes, accessories, go to utblifestyle.shop. Also, go to taylorgang.com for the shark hoodie with UTB. And for this podcast, Will Argument Radio, go to bigcaliworld.com. And then, scroll. We're on every streaming services and YouTube. And we're going to come back again. But till then, it's the man with the plan. I ain't Clark Kent, but some of the ladies do call me Superman. It's your boy, Big Cali. And Maya, I appreciate you.
Thank you, Big C. Shout out to UTB. Shout out to San Bernardino. You feel me? Shout out to Noah James.
Get it in.
You know, I want to shout out to my Nana. You know, who's Big C's new favorite person.
I love Nana. By the way, she's too rare. She's a hippie. She knows everything.
Shout out to Cass One. Shout out to you.
You know
Follow
what it
us.
is. Hey, yo, man. Let's go, man. Love, peace. Thank y'all.
Big
Cali world.
all the time, extra lit, extra lit, extra lit. Big Cali world all the time, extra lit, extra lit, extra lit. Big Cali world all the time, extra lit, extra lit, extra lit. Big Cali world all the time, extra lit, extra lit, extra lit. Ain't nobody fresh like C, built like bear, nigga strong like tree, strong like Kush, too hype like E. Entourage stick so thick like she. First class bitch, you know all 3 seats. Got the pass like free, talking free like cheap. You gon' cheat, hoodie bigger than whatever you gon' be. We gon' stack like cheese, that's 100-something G, nigga. Big Cali world all the time, extra lit, extra lit, extra lit. Big Cali world all the time, extra lit, extra lit, extra lit. Big Cali world all the time, extra lit, extra lit, extra lit. Big Cali world all the time, extra lit, extra lit, extra lit.